He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. Nietzsche. Imagine waking up every day feeling like your very presence needs an excuse. You apologize before asking questions, shrink yourself to avoid trouble, and convince yourself it's humility. But Nietzsche wasn't talking about safety. He meant meaning, purpose, that unshakable why. Still, you apologize for existing as if you need permission just to breathe. That's not humility. That's erasure. A slow suffocation of your identity for approval that never comes. You think confidence is for others, born lucky with thick skin. But confidence isn't luck, it's war. A war against every message telling you your needs are too loud, your emotions too messy, your existence too much. You learned apologies are currency, a way to earn safety, love, or less punishment. You were trained to shrink, to be quiet and agreeable, hoping to be enough. But the truth is darker. Each apology teaches your mind you're a threat, that survival means betraying yourself. You contort, minimize, and walk like an intruder, hoping not to be noticed. And in that constant apology, you lose your why. Confidence starts not with achievement, but defiance, saying, I exist and I will not apologize. Your why is born in refusing to diminish yourself for others. You're not a problem to fix or noise to silence. You are a force. Forces don't apologize. They move, break, and create. The first unapologetic word will feel raw and scary. Let the voices scream. After the burn comes clarity. You don't owe the world an apology. You owe yourself the right to take up space. If you're waiting for permission, here it is. Go. You're living in a world that constantly asks you to shrink, to make yourself smaller, to tone down your light so it doesn't blind anyone else. The world whispers in a million subtle ways. Don't be too much. Don't take up too much space. Don't rock the boat. Don't be loud. Don't be angry. Don't be visible. And if you break the mold, you get punished, socially isolated, ignored, shamed. So you learn to apologize before you even know what you're apologizing for, before you even realize you deserve to exist unapologetically. That's the setup. You've been conditioned to believe that your very existence is a problem, and you must pay for it in advance with sorry. Sorry for speaking up. Sorry for taking time. Sorry for needing help. Sorry for being alive. You grow up watching people around you quietly carry this burden, mothers, siblings, friends, colleagues, and you think that's just how life is. That's how you survive. But it isn't survival. It's a slow erasure of your soul. Think about it. When you're constantly apologizing for existing, you aren't building confidence. You're training your brain to expect rejection, to anticipate punishment, to brace for the next blow. Confidence, real confidence, begins with understanding what this world really demands from you. Not perfection, not compliance, but courage. Courage to stand in your own light, even if it burns those who never learned how to face the dark. And courage is terrifying. Because when you begin to say, I am here, without apology, the world fights back. The discomfort you feel when you speak up is the battlefield of change. The internal chaos is your mind recalibrating, learning to accept a truth it never knew, that you have a right to exist fully, unapologetically. You may still feel the old programming tugging at you, the familiar voice telling you to apologize, to retreat, to minimize. It's a ghost from your past, a well-worn script running on repeat. But here's the secret. You can rewrite that script. You can choose to stop apologizing for existing. The setup is this. You're caught between the weight of what you've been taught and the pull of who you are meant to be. You're standing at the edge of a new beginning, but the ground feels unsteady beneath your feet. The question is, will you leap? Or will you stay trapped in the familiar cycle of I'm sorry until your voice is just a whisper lost in the noise? It's okay if you don't have the answer yet. It's okay if you tremble with uncertainty, because this is the start of a journey, not the end. You need to recognize the setup so you can break free from it. This is your moment to see the pattern, to understand the trap, and to realize that the apology is the chain. You don't have to live in this chain. You can break it. And when you do, something shifts inside. That shift is the seed of confidence, not the fake kind sold by quick fixes or hollow affirmations. the kind that rises from the ashes of doubt, forged in the fire of refusal to apologize for your existence. This setup isn't just about your struggle, it's about your power, your readiness to fight back against the whispers that say you don't belong, because you do. You belong fiercely, loudly, and unapologetically. And that's where the real work begins. To understand why you feel the need to apologize for existing, we must look beyond your personal story, to the history embedded in society itself. For centuries, many cultures have taught especially women, marginalized groups, and anyone seen as other, that their value depends on silence, obedience, and submission. The world you inherited was built on hierarchies that thrived by keeping others small. Women were told to be nice, quiet, and accommodating. To speak up or want more was dangerous. It threatened the established order. So, generations learned to apologize for taking up space, for their feelings, for their very presence. This isn't just ancient history. From childhood, you absorb this message through family, school, media. Don't be too much, don't ask too many questions, don't be a burden. Often wrapped in praise for being polite or respectful, these lessons masked a harsher truth: survival demanded erasure. Nietzsche's line about having a why to bear anyhow came from his struggle in a rigid, unforgiving world. Without a purpose, suffering becomes unbearable. You've been handed a script that tells you to endure without a why, to hide your pain and live muted. But real change begins when someone refuses those old rules. Look at the women who came before you, the rebels and pioneers who dared to say, "I exist," without apology. Their courage cracked open silence and submission. You carry their legacy, but you don't have to stay in their shadows. You get to step into the light they fought for. This history isn't weakness. It's conditioning designed to keep you small, but it also shows you're part of a lineage of resistance. And resistance starts with one thing: refusing to apologize for existing. Now let's go deeper, beyond history and society, into the core of your being. Why do you apologize for existing? What makes your presence feel like a crime? And how can philosophy help you break free? Nietzsche gave us the key. He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. It's not just about surviving pain, but finding a purpose so strong it gives meaning to your suffering. Your why is your anchor in chaos. Without that why, the how becomes unbearable. If you keep apologizing for existing, you've either lost your why or never found it. You carry the burden of life without meaning, and that emptiness crushes your confidence. Existential thinkers like Sartre and Kierkegaard called this void existential angst, the terrifying freedom to create your own meaning and be responsible for your existence. This freedom scares you because no one else will tell you who you are or validate your right to be here. You must claim it yourself. Apologizing is a weak defense against this abyss, a way to hide from the responsibility of owning your presence. True confidence isn't absence of fear, it's choosing to face it. To look into the void and say, "I am here and I will make this existence matter." You were never meant to wait for permission. You give it to yourself every day with every choice that refuses to apologize for your needs, desires, and dreams. The world will try to steal your why with rejection and doubt, but Nietzsche's insight is your rebellion. Your why holds you steady when the storm threatens to break you. You're not just surviving, you're fighting for your place. Each refusal to apologize is a declaration: I am enough. Build your why like a fortress. Guard it. Let it burn away the need for apology. Confidence rises from within, the fierce truth that you own your existence, not because the world allows it, but because you claim it. You exist. That existence is a revolution. Look around you. The world today is a battlefield where millions still apologize for simply existing. This isn't just a personal struggle. It's a social epidemic that stretches across cultures, ages, and online feeds. Take social media, the modern arena where identity is forged and shattered with every scroll, every swipe, every double tap. It's a place where millions curate their lives under the harsh spotlight of judgment and comparison. People censor their authentic selves to fit invisible rules, packaging their presence to avoid criticism or exclusion. Every post is weighed against the fear of rejection. Every comment, every opinion, preempted by an apology or a softening phrase. "I'm sorry if this offends. I hope this doesn't sound rude. Just a thought." These words aren't politeness anymore, they're survival tactics. Why? Because the culture has taught us that to be fully seen is to be vulnerable, and vulnerability, they say, is dangerous. It's safer to disappear into the crowd than to risk the spotlight's glare. Look at the influencers and creators. Some brave, some quietly enduring the pressure to conform. Behind their polished feeds lie the same toxic voices you hear inside your own mind, whispering, "You're too much," or "You're not enough." They apologize for their appearance, their opinions, their ambitions, their flaws, their very presence on the screen. But this struggle isn't confined to online spaces. It spills over into workplaces where employees hesitate to raise their hands or share ideas. Fear of being too loud, too sensitive, or too demanding silences innovation and stifles growth. People shrink into roles where survival depends on invisibility and compliance. The culture rewards the quiet and punishes the bold. Even in personal relationships, this pattern repeats. People apologize for their feelings, boundaries, needs, constantly negotiating their right to space and respect. The apology becomes a shield to protect fragile connections from conflict or rejection. But this shield is brittle and false. This modern landscape reveals a brutal paradox. Despite unprecedented connectivity, millions feel more invisible, unheard, and unseen than ever before. The price of belonging is often erasure, the slow fading of the self into a muted, apologetic version. Here's the crucial insight. This isn't just about survival or fitting in. It's about the fundamental human need for authenticity, for presence, for belonging. You were made to be fully visible, fully present, fully you, not an edited or diminished version for others' comfort. This digital age exposes the silent epidemic of our time, apologizing for your existence. It's the toll exacted by a world that feels unsafe to be fully alive in. But what if you decided to break this cycle? What if you chose, right now, to stand fully in your truth, online and offline, without a single apology? Imagine the power of that refusal. Imagine the ripples it could send through the noise, carving out space where you, and others, could finally breathe. The cruel irony is clear. By apologizing for your existence, you reinforce the very invisibility you seek to escape. You teach yourself and others that your presence is negotiable. But your presence is not a gift, not a favor. It's a fact. And facts don't apologize. So the modern parallel is clear. Your struggle is not isolated. It's woven into the fabric of this moment, this culture, this era. The fight for unshakable confidence is not just personal. It's revolutionary. When you refuse to apologize for existing, you don't just reclaim yourself. You light the way for others drowning in the same silence. The world may be noisy and unforgiving, but your existence is louder, and it demands to be heard. It's time to stop hiding behind apologies. Time to stop whispering sorry when you should be roaring your truth. This isn't just a choice, it's a reckoning. Look closely at the way you've been living. The endless apologies, the constant shrinking, the invisible strings pulling you back every time you try to step forward. This is not humility. This is erasure, a slow death of your soul. Ask yourself, what have you been giving away? How much of your life have you surrendered to the fear of being too much, too loud, too visible? How many moments have you stolen from yourself because you feared disapproval or rejection? The brutal truth is this: every apology for existing chips away at your power. It teaches your mind and body to believe you don't deserve to be here, that your needs, desires, and presence are negotiable. But what if that belief is a lie? What if the truth is that you have every right to be here, fully and unapologetically? That your existence is not a problem to fix, but a force to wield? This is the call to realization. The moment you stop being your own jailer, you're not broken, You're not a burden. You are not the mistake you've been told you are. You are a force of nature, raw and relentless. You were never meant to fit into a mold crafted by others' fears or prejudices. Imagine what happens when you refuse to apologize for your existence. You begin to take up space like it's your birthright. You speak without hesitation, without softening your voice. You claim your desires without guilt. You meet the world not with timidity, but with the fierce certainty that you are enough. This doesn't mean you won't tremble. The first steps will shake you. The voices in your head, the ones telling you to stay small, will scream in protest. They will throw everything they have at you to pull you back into silence. But this is where true strength is born. In the face of that internal chaos, you stand firm. You learn that confidence isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to move forward despite it. You learn that you do not need anyone's permission to exist. You own your space. You own your story. And in that owning, you spark a fire, not just within yourself, but in everyone around you. Because unapologetic existence is contagious. It shatters the illusion that we must shrink to survive. It carves paths for others still lost in the shadows. So hear this clearly. The world will try to make you apologize. It will demand your silence, your invisibility. But you have a choice. You can keep apologizing, shrinking, fading, or you can rise. Rise into your truth. Rise into your power. Rise unapologetically. This is your moment. This is your call. Stop apologizing for existing. Start living with unshakable confidence. The world needs your presence. It's time you believe it too. This is not just about changing how you move through the world. It's about reclaiming your very essence. No more quiet corners. No more whispered excuses. You were born to stand tall, to own your story, to claim your place unapologetically. And the first step is this. Stop apologizing. Stop shrinking. Start standing. You've waited long enough. Your time is now. Here's the final truth you've been avoiding for far too long. Your endless apologies for simply existing are not just harmless words uttered out of habit. They are chains, silent, invisible, but crushing all the same. Chains that bind you to a life half lived, a shadow of who you were meant to be. You've been living in the prison of your own making, locked behind the bars of doubt, fear, and conditioned self-erasure. But what if you could shatter those chains? What if the very thing you once saw as your weakness, the shame, the self-doubt, the need to apologize for taking up space, could become the source of your greatest power, the strength you never knew you had? This is the final revelation that changes everything. You are not here to be small. You are not here to shrink, to quiet yourself, or to fade into the background. You are here to be monumental, to take up space with your entire being, to live so fully and so unapologetically that the world cannot ignore you, even if it tries. Living unapologetically means something far deeper than just refusing to say sorry for existing. It means facing every part of yourself, the dark corners you've hidden, the scars you've tried to cover, the messy, imperfect parts that society has told you to hide away. Real confidence is born from radical acceptance of your whole self, your contradictions, your fears, your doubts, your beauty, and your flaws alike. When you finally stop apologizing for your existence, something shifts. You stop fracturing your soul into pieces that others deem acceptable. You stop splitting yourself in two to fit into boxes built by someone else's expectations. Instead, you become whole. You become a force of nature, raw and authentic and powerful. And that wholeness is magnetic. It pulls people in. It commands respect without you having to ask for it. It inspires others who have been trapped in their own cycles of apology and invisibility to begin their own journeys of self-acceptance and power. This final revelation is your key. It is the key that unlocks doors you didn't know were locked. It is the hammer that breaks down the walls built by years of self-doubt, fear, and societal conditioning designed to keep you small. But this path, make no mistake, is not easy. You will stumble. You will falter. You will face resistance both from the outside world and from the voices inside your own head. The voices that tell you you're too much, not enough, or that you're unworthy of space and love. Every time those voices try to pull you back, remember, Each time you stand firm, you grow stronger. Each time you speak your truth without apology, you send a message, not just to the world, but to yourself, that you refuse to settle for less than you deserve. Your existence is not up for negotiation, it is a declaration. You do not owe anyone apologies for your presence, your voice, your dreams, or your very breath. You owe yourself the freedom to exist fully, fiercely, and unapologetically. This freedom is your birthright. It is your rebellion against every attempt the world has made to silence you, diminish you, or erase you. It is your reclamation of power, your ownership of your story, your life, and your place in this world. So here is your final, undeniable truth. Stop shrinking, stop apologizing, start living. Live with fire in your veins. Live with a courage so fierce it cannot be dimmed. Live with the unshakable confidence that you are enough, always have been, always will be. You are not an accident. You are not a burden. You are a force of life, of change, of power. And now that you know this, the question is simple. What will you do with this truth? Will you let it ignite your rise, your transformation? Or will you let it slip away, swallowed by old fears and old habits? The choice is yours. But know this. Every moment you live unapologetically is a victory over fear, over doubt, over the lies you were told about your worth. So rise without apology. Rise and claim the unshakable confidence that has always been inside you. The world needs your presence, not a shadow of it, but all of it, right here, right now. 8. Dramatic conclusion. This is the moment where everything changes, or everything stays the same. The moment you choose whether to keep shrinking into the shadows or to finally step into the light with all the force you've been denying yourself. No more half measures, no more whispered apologies, no more fading into the background as if your very existence is a mistake. You've been living behind invisible bars, held captive by your own fear and the echoing voices that told you to apologize for taking up space. But this moment, this is the break in those bars, the crack where light seeps through the darkness, where your truth begins to roar louder than the doubts. Understand this. There is no neutral ground in this fight. You either rise, fierce and unapologetic, or you stay trapped in the slow death of invisibility. The choice is yours, and yours alone. Apologizing for your existence was never kindness. It was surrender. A surrender to a world that tried to convince you to be less. But you were not born to surrender. You were born to resist, to rage, to roar with every fiber of your being that you will no longer be silenced. The world will not hand you confidence. No one will gift you permission to be bold, to be seen, to be loud. You must take it. You must seize it with claws and fire and unrelenting will. You will stumble, yes, you will fall. The voices that have haunted you will scream their warnings louder than ever. The weight of breaking free will threaten to crush you. But here is the brutal truth. It is in those moments in the falling and rising that true power is forged. Confidence is not a fragile flower. It is forged in fire, tempered by struggle, born from the fierce refusal to accept less than you deserve. You will be broken. You will be raw. You will bleed. But every time you rise, you grow stronger. Every time you refuse to apologize for your presence, you claim a piece of your power back. This fight is not for the faint of heart. It is a battle against a lifetime of conditioning, against the lies, the fears, the doubts that told you to be small, quiet, invisible. And now, here you stand at the edge of your own revolution, your uprising against a lifetime of erasure, your declaration that you will no longer be silenced, no longer be made to feel like a problem. This is your call to arms, your moment to say, I am here, I exist, I will not apologize for that. Let that statement burn through your veins. Let it drown out the lies that once held you captive. Let it ignite a fury so fierce it cannot be ignored. Because the world does not need a smaller version of you. It needs the full, raw force of your existence. This is your time, your life, your voice, your power. Claim them. Own them. Fight for them. No more apologies. No more shrinking. No more silence. Live with the wild, unshakable confidence that you are enough, that you were never meant to apologize for being. Because when you finally stand unapologetically in your truth, you become unstoppable. You become a force of nature that cannot be ignored or silenced. You become the revolution you were waiting for. So stand now, speak now, live now, because the time for hiding is over. The time for apologizing is done. Your life is yours to claim, unapologetically, fiercely, completely, and nothing else will do. You've heard the truth. You felt the weight of every apology you've ever whispered just for existing. Now it's time to take a stand, to stop hiding in the shadows and start stepping fully into the light of who you are. This is no gentle suggestion. This is a demand, a challenge you must answer. Because every moment you keep apologizing for being alive is a moment wasted in silence, in fear, in self-denial. So I'm telling you now, stop. Stop shrinking. Stop waiting for permission that will never come. Own your space. Speak your truth. Take up room like you were born to do. You don't owe anyone an apology for being here. You owe it to yourself. Start with small steps. Catch yourself every time you say sorry just to soften your presence. Replace it immediately with a fierce truth. Say out loud, I am here. I deserve to be heard. My existence is not a mistake. Let those words burn through the doubt. But words alone won't do it. You need to move. Move your body. Move your voice. Move your mind. Stand taller. Speak louder. Demand respect for yourself and your dreams. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, who celebrate your fire, not try to put it out. Seek stories, art, and voices that remind you that unapologetic existence is possible and necessary. When those old fears and insecurities creep back in, meet them head on. Challenge the voices that tell you to shrink or be less. Remind yourself they are echoes of the past. You get to rewrite your story. This path won't be easy. You will stumble, falter, feel raw and exposed. But every time you refuse to apologize, every time you claim your space, you win. You chip away at the walls built to keep you silent. Remember Nietzsche's words, "He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how." Find your why. Let it be your anchor. Let it drive you through every dark moment. Your why could be your passions, your dreams, your loved ones, or simply the fierce refusal to erase yourself any longer. Now it's time to move through the fear, to rise, to own your life fully and unapologetically. And if this message speaks to you, if you're ready to stop apologizing and start living, then show it. Like this video if you're ready to claim your power. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. And most importantly, subscribe to this channel because here you'll find the strength and truth to keep pushing forward. This isn't just content. This is a movement, a rebellion against invisibility, against silence, against the slow suffocation of your spirit. So join us, rise with us, and never apologize for existing again. The world is waiting for you. Go claim it.